Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Good evening. Welcome back to the CSL, guys. This is a matchup between Cal and UC Irvine. So that's Berkeley and Irving crosstown rivals going head-to-head here on one night only at the CSL. The last match went to Cal on a masterful comeback. No, it was UCI. I'm sorry. UCI held the ground. No, it's Cal. God, it's getting late. Cal won. They did a great freaking job. Now, we have a unique treat for you guys this time around. But before I tell you what that treat is, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Twitch, for making this possible. The leaders in streaming, especially in gaming, and big supporters of College Dota as it grows within the scene. Our second shout out goes to none other than Band, the social app of the CSL. You can join up, get it on the App Store for your Android device, or if you're old school, your Apple, and join the CSL chat to meet everybody and join the social club. Guys, the treat I have for you right now is not one, but two analysts for this draft. I'm joined, as always, by Gorgon the Wonder Cow, my partner in crime. And for this game, because Gorgon is getting a little hoarse in the throat area, we're going to bring in Chaz as our second in command. So he'll be playing color for me as we go into the match, but will also be joining us for the draft. Gentlemen, welcome. Let's start with Gorgon. Gorgon, what'd you learn from the last game?
Last game, I learned that UCI need to have the discipline. They can't just have superior laning if they want to be able to come out ahead in this best of three.
And I know you watched the last game, Chaz, so talk to me. Tell me, what did you come away with?
The Luna was not really utilized, I think, because they were anticipating. We saw the first and second high ground attempts they made in the mid lane. Mm-hmm. Those were quite disastrous. So... yeah, execution not as solid as the strategy behind it.
Absolutely. And when we watched Cal play, the thing that stood out to me was Cal's early game execution was in some ways very weak. The Venomancer jungle just wasn't really working for them. That said, their game sense was on point. And if UCI had early good game execution, it felt like their game sense sort of fell off at about that 15-minute mark, and they threw a couple of really big kills down at the feet of Cal. Now, Chaz, if you are on UCI, you had a really big lead, you threw it away, a game that should have lasted 35 minutes went all the way out to that hour mark. What do you do to get your team back into this thing? Do you pick heroes you know and love? Do you have a short talk and get your pants back in order? What's your play?
So I know the guys at UCI pretty well, and let me tell you, these are some of the greatest, most well-knit group in, I want to say, almost all of collegiate esports, and UC Irvine does such a good job at supporting all of their esports teams. It's incredible. So honestly, I really don't think that, yes, the last game was a bit demoralizing, throwing a lead like that, but honestly, I feel like these guys are just so close-knit, and they'll be fine. They'll pull it together, and I don't think we'll see an ounce of tilt in them going into this game.
Fair enough. Speaking of well-knit, my grandmother made me a lovely hat earlier this year. Thanks, Grandma. Now let's go to you, Gorgon, and talk about CAL. Cal here is in the opposite side. They had a really rough start. They kept their head about it, and then we saw them get a little bit cocky, a little bit excited, and really coming off of a high, right? They beat a team that record-wise is slated to beat them, and they beat them pretty handily when they should have lost. Do you think that that is a detriment in Game 2 or a help in Game 2 for Cal?
I don't know these individual players well enough to know how they handle these sorts of emotional gains, but what I will say is we're very early in the season, and I think every team is aware that their ranking now may not represent the actual true statistical likelihood that they are going to beat or be defeated by opponents. So I think CAL are really out to prove that they had a rough couple early games, but they're starting to figure their stuff out, and that they're not really as low ranked as they look like they are on paper. And it's
As-
still early enough for them to turn that around.
As the records would have you believe. Now, that said, we've talked about the team's mindset. As we look at the second set of bans, let's talk about the draft so far. Sand King Lion picked up for UCI. That's a lot of stun. Chaz, is that Sand King going to be a support, or are we looking at a laning Sand King here?
I want to say 90% offlane Sand King. That seems to be the UCI favorite.
Okay, so offlane. Now, let's talk about this offlane Sand King. Sand King, a hero who was fairly traditionally support for a very long time, now making this massive comeback onto the scene in the offlane. What makes him such a great offlaner? Is it just the damage output early? I mean, because it seems like he lacks the traditional escapability of an offlaner. Gorgon?
Well, he does have pretty good escape if you level him for escape, right? Burrow Strike is a pretty solid escape. Not only does it stun any melee heroes near you, but it also gives you a little bit of a pseudo blink. You also have Sandstorm, so if your opponents don't know how you're leveling, they do have to bring detection in order to kill you. The damage from Caustic Finale is what really gave him that offlane prowess, in addition to the fact that offlane jungle camp that was added 2 or 3 patches ago gives him some place to fall back on. He has some place that he can stack if he needs to, and knock them relatively easily with Caustic Finale.
Let me ask you this, Chaz. Is he a strong enough offlaner and game impactor that you feel like you have to counterpick him, or can you just sort of let him do his thing?
I feel like the only counterpick that Sand King warrants is a strong safe lane, or if you're planning on aggressive tri-laning, a strong off-lane pick. Because honestly, we've seen the Sand King just eviscerate Faceless Voids in aggressive tri-lanes, and the Timber Saw gets absolutely destroyed by Sand King. So I really, you need to be cognizant of Sand King going to win a lane if you give him space and if you don't pressure him. But other than that, I don't think he's really warranting his own counter pick, so to speak.
Makes sense. Now, I do like UCI's picking him up early. Right now, UCI hasn't put all their cards on the table because Sand King, like we've talked about, can be easily moved to other positions. So Cal has the 3rd pick here, and essentially they're going all the way into 3 picks without really knowing, in my opinion, what UCI's end game is. So if you're Cal, what are you looking for with these next 2 picks? Are you sort of hoping to get a support and maybe figure UCI out, or do you just go all in? Answer my own question, I guess.
I mean, I don't think you're really pressured to reveal your strategy here. And obviously, Keeper of the Light's a bit more telling, right? Like, Illuminate is such a core part of this hero's identity, especially after the Chakra and Mana Leak tweaks that we've had over the last few patches. Yeah. So picking the Keeper says we're going to push. And if they hit a good Chronosphere, that team fight's almost assured.
Absolutely. What are you thinking so far, Gorgon?
Well, I do like the Sand King offlane. I think that it looks like it should do okay here. The tweaks to Keeper of Light have made him a persona non grata for some teams and really haven't affected other teams in the way that they view him. But with all of the stun that's coming out of UCI, that Keeper will need to be very, very, very careful because he has no survivability at all into stun or burst.
So much stun coming out of UCI. Juggernaut with that ultimate just able to sort of melt Keeper down if he can catch him out of position. Now we see Luna come out again, this time though on the opposite side.
Yeah. But, well, same faction, though, is important to know. Still on the Dire side, you are going to have some jungle camp advantages that come to the Dire side for Luna. In addition, you are going to have the stackability of the off-lane ancient camp into Roche, which is something that wasn't really utilized by UCI last time. But if it is well utilized, can really give Luna a huge boost. So you're talking 2 or 3 levels, plus, like we saw last time, like 1,700 to 2,000 gold in one fell swoop. If you take that before you try to push high ground, as UCI didn't, it makes it very, very, very difficult for opponents to keep their heads above water.
Or if you just take it and don't trade away 2 kills and a tower on the top lane at the same time. Because that really was sort of the breaking point, right? As much as we talked and joked about the range creep, bottom tower push, that was fun. It came down to that swing. Luna said, I'm going to take the stack, and Cal very smartly said, we can set up a gank. They're going to try to defend this unmanned or undermanned, and got a really massive play out of it. Now, Dazzle gets picked up here in UCI, and if you weren't already heavy on the survivability with 3 stuns from Sand King and Lion, the spin to win from Juggernaut, now you've got even more survivability and armor decrease from the Dazzle. What's your pick with Cute Animal Lovers? Because right now it feels like they don't have an answer to this mid game that UCI is putting together.
Yeah, it's really difficult for them. An Axe would normally be a really good.
Chaz, what do you think? Gorgon had a little bit of a mic issue there.
Yeah, I'll just continue that thought. Axe is definitely what, as soon as you see a Dazzle, that kind of screams Axe, right? But the Faceless Void coming out so early in the draft really prohibits that. I can only think of one team in the CSL off the top of my head who has mentioned running a mid lane Void. So really, that's out of the question. We're not going to see the Axe that I think UCI would love to have.
Yeah.
This is a much harder pick for them because, as you mentioned, how do you get through this mid game, right? The push of Luna and Keeper of the Light, it's strong, but really the strength of the Keeper push comes from Aghanim's, and he's not going to have that in time. By the time the Juggernaut hits full swing and the Sand King with the Blink Dagger, he's kind of going to be left in the dust a little. So
what I will say is that is not there's a very good chance that UCI are planning on running that Juggernaut mid. So if CAL really do want an Axe here, they could pick an Axe and plan on doing a dual off lane, right? Or an off lane in both side lanes, and then running the Axe in the mid lane. While UCI are going to be running the Juggernaut probably, or at least potentially mid. But it is a very risky pick. If we'll see, CAL will have the information for the full opponent draft to make this decision. Otherwise, they need to pick up a mid laner that's going to be able to provide them with a lot of push so that they are able to just start knocking down towers early and hope that they don't rubber band back out.
In a weird way, it's almost like UCI and Cal are flipping the script on the last draft, right? Cal sort of had that, or I'm sorry, UCI had that aggressive push. Let's take a bunch of lanes. Let's get a Bloodstone up on Timber. UCI seems like they're doing the opposite. This time we've got Shadow Fiend with massive wave clear. Dazzle, surprisingly good at clearing waves for a support. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Battle Fury and the Juggernaut to aid with this countering the push. I don't know. What are you looking at right now? What do you think about that Shadow Fiend pickup?
It's interesting. It gives them that laning presence that they potentially need if they are going to run that in the mid lane. So Cute Animal Lovers are probably going to make the assumption that Shadow Fiend is mid. That's the safe call. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it is the safe call. This also could end up being an aggressive tri-lane coming out with a Lion Juggernaut Dazzle, which would be really good at shutting down this Luna. Double stun coming out of the Lion. You've got the slow as well. Juggernaut has the spin, which is going to stop the Luna from being able to defend herself either with anything in Ogre Magi's kit or with the Lucent Beam. If I'm Cute Animal Lovers, what I'm really concerned about right now is my lack of heals. Because the lack of heals makes it so that they can't really run their own aggressive tri-lane.
TA. So it looks like we're going to see a TA versus Shadow Fiend mid potentially here. Should be pretty interesting. Gorgon, I know you're going to leave us in just a second, maybe help out with some stats and stuff on the side. But give me your final thoughts on the two drafts and who your favorite is.
I do like UCI's draft better here. In order for Cute Animal Lovers over on the Berkeley team to make this game happen, they need to either execute the laning phase much better than they did last game, or they just need a lot of mistakes coming out of UCI. One of those two things will need to be true with this draft.
Sounds good to me. Now, when we come back in just a second, it'll be me and Chaz bringing you the action between Cal Berkeley and University of California, Irvine. Don't go anywhere.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds.
Well, I thought we'd be loaded in by now. There we go. All right, we are in. We are here to win, guys. My name is Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TV. I'm joined by my new co-caster, new partner in crime, Chaz. Introduce yourself to these folks.
my name is Chaz, and I am kicking out Gorgon for good. Good riddance.
For good. Sorry, Gorgon.
I kid. I kid.
Hashtag fired.
He's grazing his greener pastures right now, that silly wonder cow, but he will be back, and I know he's probably chiming in with some silly stat as we speak.
Right? Should be a lot of fun. All right, let's do some quick introductions for these two teams. We see a smoke popped on the Radiant side coming down the pile driver. Hannibal Lecter will be playing the Shadow Fiend. Behind him, we are going to have the Lion played for Just for Pride, ironically enough. We're going to have the Idle ATM, playing the Sand King. Bay be playing the Dazzle. And last but not least, bringing up the tails, going to be Lord Kuhn, not smoked, playing the bait on the Juggernaut.
And on the side of Cal Berkeley, we have Endura prancing to the top lane again on the Luna. Different team this time around. Magic Hero Lights blasting away on the Keeper of the Lights. KS on your mid lane Templar Assassin. Ogre Magi, played by Get This Guy Off Me, which is pretty funny considering 2 heads, 1 body. And finally, quarterfinal in the bot lane, playing Faceless Void.
Radiant gets a nice ward up, and they spot the smoke breaks just on the tail end of the rotation. Luna dives into the woods, and everyone else gets the hell out of dodge. And that smoke break was literally the best thing that could have happened to Cal at that moment, because it was about to be a massacre. They had 2 heroes up here staring at the rune. Luna was in no place to help, and they just barely dodged a very difficult start. The last hit deny chart is up for you guys to keep an eye on as we go into the laning phase. Let's see how these lanes break down. Up in the off, it looks like we've got Bai and Idle ATM together, maybe for a 2-1-2. They seemed to like it in the last game. Let's see if they do it in this one as well. Hannibal Lecter will be against the TA, so no luck on the Juggernaut mid today, ladies and gentlemen. Smoked by the Ogre. He's going to rotate around, presumably behind Hannibal Lecter, to try and get an early jump on the Shadow Fiend. You like this. You want to see him get that quickly before Necromastery stacks start to build up. Here comes the rotation. KSCD acting like nothing's going on. Hannibal Lecter will get the slow. It's just going to harass him. Not much they can do in terms of kill. Are they going to be able to get a kill here? It looks like they might. Going all the way in on Hannibal Lecter, but the body block! Ogre blocks him out. The first blood goes to Shadow Fiend. He will die, but at what cost? A 2-for-1. It's a Cyber Monday fire deal here on Tuesday, baby.
Oh, the BM, good luck, have fun after the fact.
Wow, so he gets the GLHF. Lord Kuhn with the spin to win. Quarterfinal jumps away, and the gauntlet has been thrown down. Ogre Magi's fat side gets in the way of what probably might have been a kill and escape, as there was just no right-click potential. I think TA just couldn't get the vision. I don't know what's going on there.
I mean, I'm not sure if the bears are an endangered species, but after what I just saw in the mid lane, they will be after this game. That was just pointless feeding. Why are they throwing their lives away like that?
It was interesting. It was a bold move by the Bears coming off of a win. They can afford to make these bold plays, but they got to be careful. UCI, no slouches. I mean, speaking of which, they go on the top. Endura in some trouble, throws up the stun, but Idle closing in, wants to get there. 5 seconds on the stun. He'll be able to finish the job. Cancels the salve. This will be the end of Luna. Didn't even have to use it, but now they turn back around. They get the coddle. It's a massacre, man.
Yeah, someone move bears to the endangered species list.
You know,
this is just brutal.
In all fairness, however, let's be honest, this is exactly how the last one started. So,
very true.
UCI's got to keep their heads about them. They're having a really great start, much better than last time. That said, Cal is a team who doesn't seem to tilt. They play well together, they play aggressively when they need to, but they also make smart decisions. Let's see if that starts now as Mashu and Get This Guy Off Me start to rotate around to try and get a little play here on the Sand King. Bai is up here supporting him. Now, is it Bai or Bay? I don't know. So we'll wait and find out maybe in the next lobby if we go to 3. That said, though, Luna's just not getting the farm that she needs to be getting right now at 10-4. Having a bit of a hard go of things. 11-9 on the bottom. Juggernaut, very happy where he is.
And like Gorgon was mentioning in the draft, right? Sand King is just brutal to lane against. And when you have the Dazzle here, initially it was just the Luna and the Coddle. That's a lane that Sand King can easily punish, and we saw him do it.
He did. He made them pay real big. Meanwhile, on the bottom, that's a Hex and a spin. Ooh. Sneaky beaky. Faceless gets away, but it may not be the same story on top as Ogre is some trouble. Nice wave from Mashu. Bai trying to back off. Ogre's just so tanky. He does survive. Trades for Dazzle. Endure in some trouble now as well. Idle wants to chase him. The jukes through the trees. Dodges the Coddle Blast. Endure down. And Mashu's got to run. Meanwhile, back to the bottom where they're going again on this Faceless Void. No respite for the wicked, but quarterfinal just too slippery. A bit of an eel here on the bottom lane. Kuhn don't care. He's getting his last hits, though.
I love West Coast Dota. This is such a slobber knocker of a game. I absolutely love it.
Slobber knockers, cockwalkers. This is what happens in CSL. 2,000 gold lead for UCI. Almost 1,000 XP lead. What's that?
At 4 minutes, it's 2,000 gold. That is absolutely insane.
It's an absolute insanity, guys. This is college Dota. It's why we enjoy it. Same reason we like the NCAA over the NFL, right? There's more upsets. There's more crazy stuff. You'll never see a Wildcat offense work in the NFL, but sure is a lot of fun to watch in college play. And we're seeing a little bit of a Wildcat coming out of UCI as they are playing very aggressively. That Sand King up on the top lane getting that kill was pretty ballsy. He made a very strong decision, got the Luna for his trouble, and was able to still walk away without any trouble at all.
I think it's important, too, that Dazzle is being part of so many of these kills, because Dazzle with some just cheap items is so incredibly effective.
Already sitting there, Idol going to keep on farming, playing a very strong Sand King and really ousting the Luna pretty incredibly. Luna gets caught with the stun. There's the heal bomb. From the back comes the Ogre Magi, gets the save stun, but Endure still dropping very low. He's going to get away, but just barely. 51 HP to his name. Want to buy an Invoker, am I right? Hannibal Lecter could be in some trouble. KSED moving on him, gets the slow, the right click. Hannibal Lecter on the run. Can KSED do it? Jukes through the trees. One more right click. The back around. KSED goes the wrong way. Hannibal Lecter, he's going to get out. Nicely dodged. Nicely done.
And the same story was happening in the bottom lane with Faceless Void eating a ton of damage. It's all over the place.
Yep, if damage had calories, Faceless Void would be the largest man in this game. Unfortunately for him, he's not quite that fat yet. His farm just isn't there at 12-1. He's having a very hard time. He's basically jumping in, or he's walking in, taking a last hit, losing 40% of his health, and then jumping out and praying that he survives. That's how, see, watch, he's going to do it right now. Goes in for the Hex, the spin is there, the stun, and the prayer is unanswered, as this time it is not. So literally exactly what we said happens as we're watching.
He has the hard camp there at his disposal. He has the Iron Talon. Like, this should be the number 1 thought in his mind, is where can I get safe farm? You just have to give up the lane. That's it at this point.
Yeah. You know, if I'm Cal in this series so far, the thing I take away at this point is it's time for us to get a practice together, and it's time for us to work on our early game. Because right now, it seems like that's what's lacking. Endure gets caught with the slow, turns back around, gets up a nice stun. Idle on the chase. Can he make something happen here? Endure barely gets away again. Oh, no, he doesn't. What a play. The Shallow Grave turn to stun. Idle may actually survive this. Jukes through the trees. Get this guy off me. Wants to be on him, and does manage to finally kill the Sand King. Mashu heals himself. Can he get away here? UCI BAI has committed to it, and it's going to cost him big time. The wave will hit, and they'll get the double. Oh, no, they won't. Does he have the slow? He doesn't have the mana up, so Dazzle just barely gets out. That was... Jesus. You know, I thought Sand King was going to get out of there for a second. That would have been insane.
With all this aggression going on, right, it's clear to say it's obviously favoring UC Irvine just due to the kills, but in the same vein, all this time that Coddle isn't spent farming or stacking camps, or otherwise being effective, is essentially wasted. Because we were talking about the mid-game strength of UC Irvine, and now they're just accelerating that due to how many kills they're getting in this early game. Keeper of the Light's going to be a non-factor if he has to stay in lane like this.
So let's take a look at the CS chart right now, just get a feel for where everybody is, where we flip over to the net worth. The big winner is the Juggernaut, and I'm not going to say he's the big winner not with 43 last hits, but more importantly with 22 denies. He's effectively kept a lot of farm away from Faceless Void, who is 6 with Chronosphere, but has no real damage output to make use of it. And immediately he's got to jump back to safe. Let's flip over to net worth so you guys can keep an eye on it. You're going to see that 3 of the top 4 farmers, just like last game, were again UCI. The question is, will Cal and their commitment to staying centered and not tilting get them back into this game? Quarterfinal wants to make the jump. Chronosphere is up. Goes for Hannibal Lecter, waits till he gets just outside of a potential tower range to put some work in, and they will almost get the kill, but the TP, Shallow Grave at the last second, the secondary stun. Hannibal Lecter sillily turns around, wants to be involved with the kill, but goes down. He probably would have escaped had he not turned back. Gets hit by the Psyblade jump through, and they will turn back. They want to get the TA. TA Refractive Shield is up just in time. They're pinging her. They want her. That's 1, though, and she takes the Lion with her. So it ends up being a 2 for the price of 2. Problem is, Jazz, both of those were cores for Cal.
Yeah, that is not ideal. For
Nope.
one, Shadow Fiend didn't even need to die there. Sideblades was lucky to clip him due to the fact that he ran back in. So the fact that they got him was just straight up lucky. But then losing a Void and your Templar Assassin after expending the Chronosphere is... less than ideal doesn't even cut it. That's just fairly sloppy.
Now, Lord Kuhn does have Omni Slash available. He's got the Enchanted Mango on standby to try and use it, but it's not going to really work on the Void. TP up from K-Sed back to the middle. Ogre Magi going to be there backing him up right now. Here's a problem. Call our attention to it. Her name is Luna, and she's all alone.
Yeah, sitting at 0-3 though, I think you're okay with giving her a few minutes to herself.
Sure.
She's currently sitting 5th overall in terms of net worth. So if I'm UCI, she could farm for the next 5 minutes for all I care, making good work around the map.
And they go ahead, they get the TA, they pick her off. She's been having an okay game, so they make sure that she is now suffering, and they start to lean on this middle tower. It looks like Cal's philosophy, or I'm sorry, UCI's philosophy here is, let's take it to 3, but we're tired, so let's try to take it to 3 as fast as we can.
Win quick, guys.
Yep,
I mean finals tomorrow.
Exactly. I mean, these guys are in school. They just got back from break. They're probably wanting to go out with some friends. So let's finish this thing up. Quarterfinal comes down to the bottom lane again, but he is staring death in the face. There's the stun just for Pride with lots of harass. Doesn't have 6 yet, so no finger. He would have loved to use it there. Nice blast by Kodal, and he'll do a good job of trying to keep them off this tower. But the tower will go down. Juggernaut finishes the job.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, Luna has done essentially nothing to that tower. So,
So sad.
a lot of work to be done.
Look at the charts. UCI at the top, almost a 4,000 XP lead. 1,000 in terms of the, 4,000 gold, 1,000 XP, and the items are going to start to come out here relatively soon. The Perseverance of the Battle Fury is going to be Juggernaut's play here. He is more than halfway to it. In fact, he should have it up here in just a few moments. He's sitting on 1,000 gold, so he is very close to finishing this up. Now, Lord UCI is ahead. Instead of going for the fight and push build that I would have expected on a Juggernaut when you're this far ahead, they went for the Battle Fury. That's going to give them some very fast late game build here. Is that the right call on the Juggernaut?
I think it's okay. With the Sand King, that's really all the playmaking you need. You have a Lion, and look, Shadow Fiend just strides on up here. This is a guaranteed single kill, if not more.
So they go for the Ogre. Actually, Hannibal Lecter tries to go to get the double. There it is. 1, make it 2. Blink Dagger, surprise! I just got it! Yells the Sand King as he comes in, gets the stun, and they make it a double. Will push the top lane, and will happily get the pickoffs, as guess what? Juggernaut got there just in time to be involved. He's got the mana for the Omni Slash, so if that Coddle comes too close, he will go back to base, and not the way that he's hoping.
I just really want to call attention to this stat that Gorgon just put up. It's just a very smart play by Cal, since both their cores are so far behind, to ignore stacks entirely.
Right.
Of course, that's a sarcastic flame, because really that's their only way back into this, and this is an all-right opportunity. That's a very good Chronosphere.
That's a great Chronosphere. Catches 3. They want the Sand King, but he gets the heal from the Dazzle. Nuke from the outside. Can they finish the job? Quarterfinal jumps. Idle ATM is underground. He's so close to death. Can they finish him? They kill the bug. I mean, that was a lot invested for a bug, though.
When you're this far behind, I think you're willing to expend that. That's
obvious, yeah. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a Chronosphere.
Exactly. Which means that Lord Kuhn and the rest of the crew can go out and do what they want to do right now, start to pick up those stacks, and really just continue to make this game incredibly difficult for Cal to get back into. UCI seems like they're using what they learned in the last game. That last fight, I think UCI in the last match would have engaged wholeheartedly in trying to save the Sand King, but instead they made the smart play. They backed and went back to make sure that Lord Kuhn can get the farm that he needs to, finish up the Battle Fury, and make this game his.
Yeah, that Battle Fury is going to be absolutely huge for them, because we're talking about the Shadow Fiend is already massive. He's doing a great amount of damage, almost has a Yule's finished, and at that point, that's just a free kill whenever he stumbles upon a hero.
Lord Kuhn's got to spin and try to get out of this one. They're going to chase him down. He's taking a lot of damage from K-Sed. Goes to slow, but the TPs all come out, and they have to back away immediately. Here's the blink, the stun, Refraction is going to come right back up. They're still going to try to make the escape, though. They're being followed on all sides. K-Said could be in some serious trouble here. Refraction falls off. The rest of the team is coming in. Nice blast by Coddle. Blinks past it and gets the group stun. Ultimate from Luna will push everyone back with a finger to the face, and she goes down. Casey gets Refraction up just in time. Get this guy off me. Will not have anyone taken off of him. They've lost 3. If the blink guess is right, and it is, they will make it 4. The Hex comes out, and she's got nowhere to go. They've got the AoE to melt her down. It's a 4-man wipe at 14 minutes. The gold lead is at 7,500. The XP is 3,000, and the tier 2 is gone.
Where was this UCI last game? Where
Right.
was this super aggressive team? Keep in mind, they're 3rd place in the West, widely believed to be the strongest region in CSL this year. Where were this last game, right? And this aggression is paying off in spades.
I think they underestimated CAL. They weren't prepared for it. UCI, from what I hear, is a fairly isolated stack. They don't interact too much with the rest of the CSL. And I don't know if that's true or not. That's just rumor on the street. And maybe they just weren't prepared for Cal. They looked at records, looked at replays, and Cal's been off their game lately. I'm sorry, other way around. Cal looked at UCI and just wasn't... God, why is it late? UCI looked, wasn't prepared for Cal to make the comeback. This time around, they're being a lot more careful, and it's definitely paying off.
I am 100% on board there. Indeed, it's
Right,
been a long night, my friend.
I watched your marathon game. We've been here for this one. It looks like we're going to go to 3. So if you guys are watching, and this does go to 3, by the way, stick around because it's going to get silly.
Epicenter was actually just dropped for the Luna in
saw
top lane.
that.
She should be dead regardless, I would imagine.
Ooh, Endure! Endure! Idol's got to run. Endure's playing a little aggressive here. Might want to consider backing away just for safety reasons. But nope, wants to be on that kill. That was a bit of a revenge play for Endure, not willing to give it up. Now, we did learn from watching Endure play Slark in the last game that he is a very aggressive player. It's a very different kind of hero, right? The Luna and the Slark. So the question is, can you transition from a very aggressive Slark who comes in and out of fights very quickly and can sort of play those margins to a hero like Luna that's a bit of a glass cannon and not give up those kills? And that might be trouble for Cal as they are trying to catch up from behind here. If she gets picked off 1 or 2 times, again, I think that this is pretty much over.
Yeah, and for all intents and purposes, she should have died up there. But because she bought infused raindrops, that dodged at least 2 procs of Caustic Finale. That's huge, right? That saved her life. So at the very least, if she's still playing aggressively, at least she's itemizing for it this time around.
Nice. And a lot of that gold went to the Ogre Magi as Gorgon popped up. So not optimal, but not terrible. They did need that pick off very, very desperately. So looking at the top lane where we've got... Looks like UCI is thinking they might want to push into the tier 2. They've been very aggressive with taking these towers down. Just like last time, though. Again, this is literally a repeat of what we saw last time around. UCI with a big lead. It was at about 7,500 with all of the towers down when Cal made a comeback. They got some pickoffs. They broke open the tower piggy banks, and then they pushed it into a 50-minute, really back-and-forth match that ultimately they came out on top of. So UCI groups up, looking to do the same strategy, but without giving up the feeds last time around. And they can do that because last time, like we said, it was a margins. They just stayed a little too long every single time. They pushed higher than the tower on the high ground. And this time I don't think that they will make the same mistakes.
Their itemization is far better this time around as well. Sand King with that super early blink. Lion has a blink.
Oh
There's
no!
Finger.
Chronosphere was up and never used because he was melted so fast. We talked about the draft and the obscene amount of stuns that UCI was bringing to the game. That's a blink dagger on the Lion and a blink dagger on the Sand King. It was a big surprise for the Faceless Void and gets them the top tower as well as a very big pick. It's just so much mobility coupled with so much AoE stun.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend still hasn't gotten the Yules into Requiem combo that would just annihilate a hero, and Luna's probably dead again.
Luna goes in, underground, can't seem to hit him. Endure dropping very low. Epicenter goes off. Endure has to run. Idle ATM and gonna keep hiding. They do get the SF, but they will lose the TA. Honestly, that went better for Cal than I think that it could have. Again, Epicenter just didn't get that last tick on Endure.
I was very surprised that they didn't decide to pursue the Luna.
Yeah,
but
no.
regardless,
Endure is living out a Destiny's Child song right now and just keeps surviving when he has absolutely no right to in these fights. Quarterfinal comes forward. He has the Chronosphere. Looks like we're queuing up a pushback by the Coddle. And when we saw that draft come out from Dire... Okay, I'm going to hold on a second as we look like we might have an engagement here. Mashi looks like he really wants to make something happen, but it's not going to. We thought that they picked up that Coddle as a pushing device, but really it looks like they picked up the Coddle as a desperation defensive device.
That's what the situation calls for, right? I mean, the Sand King absolutely obliterated the lane, and when you have your carry being decimated in lane like that, you have to bring the support over. So Coddle couldn't farm up stacks, couldn't create stacks for his cores who need them, and you see the effects like right now. They're down nearly 10,000 gold at 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to attack the camera.
Steep uphill. Yeah.
We're going to attack the camera to Jug so we can watch his farming rotation. That Battle Fury up and paying for itself already. The Yasha on its way to him. 9.2k in his coffers. That is the top 3 cores. Almost all above the TA, who's the only person able to keep pace right now. Luna, 1,000 behind the offlaner, and that says, I think, a lot about the situation Cal finds themselves in. Luna trying to farm, Void trying to farm, but in doing so, nobody can really find what they're looking for here. Let's go to the mid where KSED has the Desolator, but that is about it, and is having to play very far forward in kind of a dangerous position in order to get these farms. I mean, how big a risk is this? They've got 2 blink stuns that can essentially eat you alive.
Yeah, Templar Assassin's really the only hero who could reasonably step out into the open without sufficient wards, and that's only because of Refraction. And even then, she will probably die.
Now,
So,
sorry, go
where do
ahead.
you farm? It's just a matter of where do you farm. The Void has nothing. He hasn't finished Vlad's. He hasn't decided on Blink. What does he have flying to? Okay, he just finished Vlad's now. This helps. But this definitely is not enough.
Now, let's talk about Shadow Fiend. Okay, so we have a smoke. We'll keep an eye on the rotation right now. Shadow Fiend built a Yule Scepter, which traditionally is sort of that pick-off Shadow Fiend initiator build. Do you think that that's the right call when you've got 2 Blink Dagger double stuns that are just sort of doing the initiating for you?
Not
Speaking
really.
of trouble for
And
Shadow Fiend, they're
they
going to move in
smoked on top of a ward as well. I'm not sure I agree with this. Oh,
Oh, they got him. Meanwhile, up on top, fight coming out. Idol in some trouble. Pops his ultimate. Wow, nice transition from the guys there.
yeah, Shadow Fiend. I know for a fact that UCI saw them smoke on top of this ward. It was pinged out. It was pretty clear. Why Shadow Fiend stuck around is a bit beyond me, but regardless, they're still getting the Luna kill. Really, she's not a priority at this point. She's falling so far in priority even that I feel like your only focus now is killing the Templar Assassin.
Yeah.
She is the only reasonable threat on the entire team.
And that is, yeah, definitely worrisome for Cal as they move forward. That's, yeah, still, look at that. No offensive items here for Faceless Void. Going to go ahead and put out that Bloodlust, which does help a little bit, but really isn't going to be enough. Meanwhile, up in their jungle, UCI is farming the Dire jungle, warding the crap out of it, blocking some camps, and making sure that there is not as much comeback potential for this Luna in this game. Get this guy off me. Walk around with that Force Staff, hoping to make a big difference there. And here comes the rotation. UCI knows they're going to be at the Ancients, wants to play. Lord Kuhn comes forward. He's got the Omni Slash. Oh, the Force Staff outside of the stun range. Nice play, and that Ogre Magi's Force Staff just paid for itself in that survival.
Yeah, first, I would say misstep that we've really seen from UCI as a unit. The Juggernaut not getting the Omni Slash off right off the bat kind of hurt. The missed Burrow Strike. Small things, but they do compile, so...
It was a moments of hesitation. They saw 2 heroes walk in different directions, and Juggernaut, you could see him hesitate for just a second to go, should I chase? And in that moment, just got out of Omni range, and it just let him get away. I mean, that said, though, they didn't lose anybody. A little bit of a feint and fail, but at the end of the day, UCI is back to farming very, very quickly.
Yep. Sand King sitting on a Yule's, 2,000 gold.
Yeah.
They have lots of tools to deal with pretty much anything Cal throws at them. If the Eclipse comes down, that's 2 Yule's targets that you can no longer hit. You have Dazzle. Dazzle's just phenomenal against Telegraph damage.
Yeah, and has been playing very well. Bay has been absolutely phenomenal with those shallow graves. Now has the Solar Crest, and it looks like TA's got to back away very quickly. Wait, they want to move? Okay. Saw the blink in from Sand King. Expected some crazy. I'm just so used to this Sand King being absolutely in the mix every single time there's a fight. There we go. So we smoke. They should have had vision on the smoke though. Dire did have a ward up, so they would have seen it pop. They ping it out, and everybody falls back behind towers just to make sure they don't want to be the one caught out.
I am reconnecting. Apologies for the disconnect.
No problem, no problem. The gold lead has slipped back is moving a little bit towards Cal. Cal doing a good job of staying firm, and once again, no tilt Cal doing a good job of keeping themselves in this thing. The smoke rotating around, hoping they got nothing out of it, so now they're going to try to make a push out of it. That tower is going to start to melt down very quickly. Not much I think Cal can do to try to hold this without a absolutely perfect chronosphere, and that's not going to be at quarterfinal.
Cut down the wrong tree, too.
He did. So he's stuck in the trees. He does have the jump back up, but no! Sand King, hoping for the blink initiation, finds quarterfinal. Quarterfinal jumps out. He only gets one. This could be absolutely disastrous. They get one. It is going to be Jugs, but no! The save from the Dazzle, who's been absolutely on fire in this game. Jug goes down, but so does Luna. Huge ultimate from Idol. Catches Mashu. Mashu's got to run. Nice blast to knock everybody back. Will it be enough? TP coming in, and now Idol's got to back away. TA, buyback to try and get the kill. She has to get this kill to make it worthwhile, and it's not going to happen. So everybody pushes back. Quarterfinal and the rest of the team are on the chase. Can they get Hannibal? Long range, slow. Quarterfinal looking for the Bash Lord. He's going to get the multicast. Will go down. So ultimately the buyback works out. They turn it around and get 3. Hold the tower just barely. And gold swing after all of that is really in Cal's favor.
Yeah, 1,000 gold. Nothing to scoff at.
And a Roche.
Yeah, free Roshan as well. This Templar Assassin is reaching a even scarier status than she was before. The Chronosphere from Void, better. They're improving. The fact that Jug lived with the shallow grave hurt a little. Otherwise, I think that fight could have been a 5-0. Oh, Sand King goes in way too early.
Sand King's got big testicles. Wants to go in. Bay's going to come forward, try and help him. He has the shallow grave up, but there is no ultimate for Idol. K-Said goes to the high ground. Lord Kuhn comes in. Gets a nice turn here. They get the Faceless Void. Everyone from Dire has to turn and run right now. In comes Mashu. Tries to help. Not going to happen. 2 cores go down, and everyone will flee. This should open up a very low Roche to an easy pickoff by the Radiant. Immediately Healing Ward goes in. Bay on the backup. Pride to make sure that security is there. He acts as the bouncer, and all Dire can do is watch Roche go away and cry themselves to sleep.
Yeah, so the 1,000 gold they just gained has been handed back over. That is 2,000 gold to the favor of UCI. And then your self-determined value of Aegis, or Aegis, pardon. I'm a heathen.
We're changing the world of Dota one pronunciation at a time.
Pronunciation at a time. Coup de grace. That's a discussion for a different day.
No, it's definitely coup de grace. Anybody says coup de grace is ridiculous.
Regardless, I do like what the Keeper has done, though. The Keeper has decided to go for the Veil, which has actually made him useful. That might sound harsh, but honestly, Illuminate was doing next to nothing as long as Healing Ward was up. So,
all right,
he's now noticeable.
UCI's biggest mistake last time was overexerting themselves on these chips. Looks like they're going to make the right call and back away as soon as everybody is up. Endure pushes bottom lane and TPs to safety very smartly before any of the TPs come out from the opposing team. So she'll get off. Got a little bit of farm, a little bit of split push. And UCI, though, showing restraint, chipping through the spin, and then walking back instead of saying, we've got the Aegis, let's stick it out and try to get this tower down.
I'm impressed by the Luna not tilting.
Yeah.
Because were I in that Luna shoes, I would be sideways right now. The fact that she's able to just push these lanes out rather calm and collected, keeping out at the perfect time there, not overstaying her welcome, and she's going to become, oh man, in pronunciation lessons, getting just any amount of farm on this Luna is a huge plus. As long as you're not relying on just the Templar and the Void, A+ in my book.
Oh, man. We got a little stat coming in there from Gorgon. Very clearly, this man is of the aristocracy and has no time for us plebes and our crappy pronunciation. I was trying to think of the French word for rich folk, but I forgot it off the top of my head, or what that class was.
Bourgeois.
Yes.
Bourgeois.
Bourgeois. Now you got me all messed
up. Now
up.
we both look like fools.
Bourgeois, sir.
There we go. Now it's just me.
I should have said bougie. That's my favorite slang to come out of bourgeois. My mom says that.
Reaching bougie status.
My mom will say that. She'll be like, "Oh, I don't love that lady. She's too bougie." So that's what you get for growing up in a good old fashioned blue collar world. 7,500 gold lead for UCI. XP at 5,000, and they have regained control. You're a plebe. All right, smoke now coming out from the guys from UCI. They're making their bourgeois reputation to try and get a pick off here in the jungle. On the bottom, Endure continue to try to find himself some farm. The BKB Dragonlance up, so he's back in this game. This is what Endure did last time. He stuck it out, no pun intended, and made sure that he found farm where he could, got some space, and came back into the match with a vengeance. So let's see if he can pull that off and lead his team to a comeback in this match. Meanwhile, UCI going to pile drive down the middle lane, trying to get this pick. They still got the Aegis, but it's going to despawn soon, so they want to make sure that they use it. Or do they, as they just back off again, force out the TPs, and walk themselves back. Maybe hoping to get a pick off and Endure if he doesn't TP, but Endure's not that silly. He won't walk back.
Yeah, see, my biggest fear, though, for the Luna, right, is say she gets jumped before she could pop her own BKB, right? Sand King has been doing a phenomenal job of that. Epicenter is now agonized. That is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If Lion's in the area, that's just a dead hero. That is too much lockdown for the Luna to survive. So the BKB, sure, it will definitely help her survivability, and I don't want to discount that. But the way the Sand King has been playing, like how tight his Sand King has been, this is an uphill battle for her, through and through.
Well, I'm watching this. I'm trying to see where Cal comes back in this. Like you said, it is very tough. That's the trouble with Luna, right? Kind of a similar issue to Sniper at this stage of the game, where you just gotta work your positioning and not get caught out. We should see Ogre Magi, I would assume, go into bodyguard mode for that Luna here relatively soon. And keep in mind that the Coddle Blast, the Blinding Light, has really been effective for her in this game. They're using it the right way to make sure that Juggernaut can't just put in those right-click damage. But like you said, the initiation now from the Eggs and the Sand King is just so gosh darn strong. We'll see how it plays out. Again, they push the bottom lane, they get to the chip point, they send in some illusions, and they leave it at that. They immediately fade back away. They do. Keep her light, Luna, one of the best anti-push combos in the game. If they go late, is Luna TA Void favored over what UCI is packing if they can make this thing go the distance?
I would have to say yes, just because of the morale hit that would be on UC Irvine.
That's a good point.
To throw a lead like this, like last game, somewhat understandable just because they overstayed their welcome. They haven't made any mistakes like that. So if something of that caliber happened, it would have to be a monumental mistake. And really, you can't discount the anti-push that Cal is hosting, right? As mentioned, Illuminate and just Luna in general will decimate a wave. So they have time. They have time to get back into this game. It's just a matter of how fast does UCI want to push Cal's buttons?
Not to mention,
how often do they want to push high ground?
Psyblades by K-Said, also not a slouch in pushing lane. They've got a lot of stall time. And you look at the gold graph, you're going to see, UCI had almost a 10,000 K lead, and they keep losing it back down to that 5,000 mark. And then they get a good fight. They win this team fight, say like the Roche Pit. They gain that advantage. They try to push, but Cal holds them and immediately just starts to out-farm them again. That's what we're seeing again. Now, we have the Juggernaut with the Battle Fury, so you would think that they'd be able to sort of maintain an even farm, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems like Cal is doing a really good job of finding space, even though there's really no space on the map.
Yeah, so it looks like Gorgon's on the side of Cal.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick, because we got a smoke rotation by Hannibal Lecter. Trying to find someone. They make a move. They catch the Ogre Magi. He will go down, but he does a really good job of force-staffing himself away from the rest of the team. So the smoke ends up just being a support when there were two other heroes, cores, in that jungle that they would have loved nothing more than to catch.
Oh, this is a pretty big catch on its own.
It is. Oh no, Hex, nicely timed. The jump is about to go off, and that will be the death of the Faceless Void. So he goes down. Endure and K-Said trying to push the tower on their own. They will do some damage to it, and then have to TP back for a strong defense where there are buyback. Is, however, up on the Faceless Void, who has Chronosphere. Keep in mind, because he died before he had a chance to use it.
I think this is fine. I like how you see Irvine's playing this, just giving it up. You don't want to be giving up the tier 3 here, for obvious reasons, but
all right,
they get the tower. If they back now, this is fine.
Yeah, so Void pops the buyback to try and force them off of the tower, and does so. A little bit of a chip here on the top lane, just in case they didn't come back. So Cal, I mean, for being as far back as they are, they lost 2, and all they gave up was a tower, in addition to the kills. Not bad for them. They did manage to pick up a tier 2 in that process.
Yeah, I think either team is happy in that situation, right? UC Irvine gets a tier 3. Cal, being far behind, gets a tier 2. They're both happy with the gold.
They are, and
It's a
if you look
win-win.
at that gold lead, still looking like an EKG meter up and down on that same 5,000 to 10,000 plane. And if I want to give anybody credit at this stage of the game, it is to Cal, who's managed to keep themselves their sort of heads about them. No tilt Cal coming true as they continue to really sort of not give up. And honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. Both of these games at 15 minutes, I would have been discussing with my team. Do we just GG and go next, bro?
I mean, I don't want to say same, but same. There's a
Right.
certain level of how much you can take mentally, and especially in a game like this, right? Where we saw them lose 4 heroes, if not 5, in the bottom lane after losing a tier 1 tower. And at some point, you have to say, how much is our mental state worth going into game 3? Because if your team is very fragile-minded, you might want to go into game 3 with a clean slate. Just, hey,
Yeah.
bad draft, bad execution, but they pushed on.
I do want to point out, so Endur's down the bottom lane looking for farm. His team actually pinged the jungle here and here and said, watch out, we don't trust that Sand King not to be hiding in the trees. So that really, I think, punctuates what you said earlier. The fact that Cal is so careful that they're worried about Sand King just camping out. Uh-oh, speaking of, he catches him, goes for the ultimate, decides to cancel it. Yule's Scepter waiting for his team to maybe come in for some backup, not willing to risk it. As, I don't know, he did see the rotation. He saw the TA trap rotation and was able to back off instead of trying to make that engagement. So smart play by Sand King.
And it's very tempting to just drop Epicenter there, right? Just say, hey, I hit the stun, she's in Yule's, I could get off some damage here. But I really like the patience there in knowing that when they have the lead like this, it's fine to just farm it out, right? Like, yes, Cal is no longer hemorrhaging these gold losses. They've managed to patch that wound. But you still have a very sizable gold lead. As long as you don't go super late, that gold lead will still be meaningful, albeit a bit less. There's no reason to really throw any kills away.
All right, so let's take a look at where we are on the itemization right now. We haven't checked in on that in a while. We've got that Yule Scepter on the Shadow Fiend that was his first build choice. Very interesting. Manta Style now finished up along with the Dragon Lance from him. We've got that Solar Crest, which has actually been pretty effective for Dazzle in this game so far. Yule's on the Sand King, which we saw him use to try and potentially get the kill on Luna and make a decision about getting himself out. What else? Anything new? Manta on the Juggernaut. That's about it. On the opposite side for Cal, though, these are the guys who have been struggling to find farm. Templar Assassin with the Storm, or Hurricane Pike. I don't know why you call it Storm Pike. Hurricane Pike up and running. Luna starting to become very comfortable with that Manta BKB. Ag Scepter up on the Keeper of the Light. Is UCI starting to worry at all? Or do you think they still think they got this in the bag?
Luna has done a phenomenal job in catching herself up. She has the most last hits in the game with more than half of her team's deaths. Like, she, despite her misgivings, has found ways to remain relevant. And yes, she's not that much of an impact in these fights, but give it time, and this is just, that could be UCI's overconfidence, right? Ignoring the Luna for too long.
And that was what Endure did last time around. Whether or not you ignore the Luna because you're not scared of a Luna, when you see a player in the last game make such a massive comeback from such a low point, you say, regardless of what hero they're on, you need to find them and hurt them. And so far, he's been very good, had good game sense at maximizing farm and still managing to escape. So kudos to Endure for doing that. Great job by the rest of his team for giving him the space to find that farm, especially the TA, who has not been shy about harassing and sort of forcing rotations from this opposing team.
My MVP thus far has to go to TA for just staying relevant, you know, keeping pressure upon herself more so than her teammates, and then not dying in these high-pressure situations. But I think, honestly, without the TA, this game is vastly different, and they don't even stand a chance.
Very true. So far, though, I'm going to be standing by taking the MVP because his early space creation and some insanely clutch shallow graves have really made this game UCI's for the taking. So they are going to manage to pick off the Aegis, if you will, gets picked up by the Juggernaut. Quick rotation towards the mid by Cal to make sure that they don't lose anything. Meanwhile, K-Said is going to see the Illusions come in, backs away, immediately picks them out for Illusions, and keeps the push going. It's a lot of damage. That Skull Basher is absolutely brutal on the Juggernaut along with the Diffusal Blade.
I'm very impressed with Cal here. As you mentioned, TA is scarier than ever. She's a legitimate threat to kill any member of UCI in less than a second. Keeper of the Light now, with Aghanims and Aetherlens, is now a permanent threat in all fights. He always has these ranged illuminates that he doesn't need to channel anymore. They go further, they do more. Cal has done an excellent job.
Absolutely. Nice creep cut by Case SED. So they know they're not going to have the creeps to defend that high. In they go. They want to chip it down. They're going for that melee Rax, and they are committed to taking this thing as they lean in very hard. Nice glyph by the space back. Let the regen help out. Hannibal Lecter still staying in deep. Get this guy off me. Comes forward. Thinks about the stun. Fakes it. Doesn't cast it. And Hannibal Lecter will walk away.
I just want to point out Lion's positioning right now. He's waiting for the Void to come in from this angle.
Quarterfinal. It's a bit of a chess game between these guys on the outside. Quarterfinal wants the initiation, just barely out of vision range from Just for Pride. I'd show you the vision, but I worry I'd miss something as these teams are just staring at each other across the trees. Quarterfinal really needs to hit a good Chronosphere. Just for Pride, so smart with that position. And Shadow Fiend trying to bait them forward. He really is trying to get him to jump out and hit a mediocre Chrono.
It's like they both know each other are there, but they don't want to do anything about it. It's a very awkward stare down.
It's like a junior high dance, right? Like they're both they both know that they want to get together and make this thing happen, but nobody's got the boldness to come in and be the one to do it.
Sand I've been slow dancing to Careless Whisper for months now. This is my time to shine.
This is it. Here we go. Faceless Void's going to get caught by Sand King. Has to jump out. Nice double, but will it be enough? As here comes the ultimate from the Sand King. On the back, triple stun. Goes invisible. That's one down. Faceless Void, no buyback. Now Lord Coon's got to back away. Shallow Grave puts in work. Not enough. KSED finishes him. Get this guy off me. In some trouble. Ogre Magi goes down. Nice Yules on KSED. He's got to be careful, but it's 2 for 2 so far. Hannibal Lecter cancels the ultimate. There is the blast from Coddle. Endure coming forward, wants to play. Nice ulti, but the BKB is out. It bought him some time to do that. KSED moves on Hannibal Lecter. Nice ulti, nice wave coming from Mashu. Stunned in place. Can they finish him? Yes, KSED finds him. Lion on the run. The blink away. Will it be enough? They can't stop Bai. Bai gets to safety, as will Lion, but they take out 3. Meanwhile, down on the top lane, the tower under assault, so they're going to be able to compile a driving right down the mid. They're going to be able to light up this middle tower. No buyback on the Juggernaut, and they might be able to get even more out of this.
I just really love the Aetherlens pickup on the Coddle. He was able to keep Mana Leak up on that Shadow Fiend for, I want to say, almost 80% uptime. Shadow Fiend wasn't able to move. I
like this rotation by KSED. Saw them there. Oh, wow. Just barely outpaced the stun to slow him down. And they will lean heavily on this tower, knowing that the racks in the tower for this lane advantage is going to be much more important to them. So they get a good job here. They pick it off. Shadow Fiend resists the urge to buy back, and they'll walk away with the melee racks in hand. Meanwhile, back at the tier 2 mid, it goes down as well. So Cal with some really smart play, and no tilt Cal comes back into this game in a very strong way.
No tilt Cal has to be their new team moving forward throughout CSL.
I mean, it seems like these guys, and this perhaps is where we talked about the start of this series. Cal has a slight advantage, in my opinion, not because they have a worse record, but because they've played this league before. They have veterans who know the pressure. They understand that of any league ever, CSL has massive swings. You can be down by 10,000 gold and still take out a victory if you outplay the cockiness of your opponents, and Cal seems to be executing on that.
I just want to call Gorgon out real quick. Luna is not the priestess of the moon. That is Mirana.
Whoa! Do you see what TA just did? Straight to Bloodthorn.
That is a great pickup. Wait, did she buy that straight shot? Yep. All cash at once?
I think it went Orchid to Bloodthorn. So I just saw Orchid pop and went, oh, that's nice. And then Bloodthorn right afterwards was like, what? This is going to hurt.
So that's such a great pickup, though. Honestly, if you see the Sand King, his team fight impact, which is essentially their entire team fight, is just mitigated instantly. Now TA could afford to do these more ballsy rotations and like wraparounds, and it's a great pickup for her.
All right, so TA always supports the wraparound. Now the Sand King makes the jump, wants to go. There's the stun. Coddle with the blast to try and buy some time. It's not going to be enough. Down goes the Void, but he does have the buyback now. Meanwhile, there was a split push, but the recall is going to get pulled in and used, so Endure comes right back to base, and they can hold defend. KSED hiding on the high ground. Lord Kuhn in a dangerous position, has to be wary of the TA, and TA is going to continue to trek. Now we go to bottom lane, where it looks like it's going to be sort of a stand by Cal here. 5 versus 4. Chronosphere is up on Void if he wants to buy back and TP in, which I assume he will. Stun there. Nice play by the Coddle. There's the buyback. No, the ultimate is available as well on the Sand King, so they have to be careful. Endure makes her move forward, wants to chase Lord Kun. Pops the ultimate, but it's not going to work. Uh-oh. They do manage to get one. So Lion looked like he was trying to chip the ranged Rex. I'm not really sure why he was there, but he was, and now he is not anymore. Meanwhile,
he got caught in an odd position, and yeah, they lost the top range racks because of it.
Yep. So brutal that recall. Coddle really, Cal. It's almost as if they said in their draft, guys, we don't lane great. Let's pick up the Coddle. Let's use the recall to take the splits back, and let's hold ground until we can get back in this. And you know what? They feel like they're not. It doesn't feel like. Look at that gold chart. That last couple of fights went from a 7,500 gold lead by UCI at 42 or 43 minutes all the way down to dead effing even.
That's incredible. And I'm buying into your theory. I feel like the draft was, let's throw the early game to make it interesting, but then really kicking into overdrive. And
Classic Berkeley.
wow. Yeah. They're currently sitting at 2-3 in CSL.
It's hard.
Maybe this has been their strategy all along, and we just haven't caught on. This is like their throw it early, sandbag now, and we'll show them later.
Sandbag now. It's a freshman tactic that I used in college as well. Give up get bad grades early, and then do well at the end. So it seems like they're using the same collegiate strategy that I used, only in Dota, and being that they're Cal students, probably not using that in school.
I'll tell you, I'm using that at UCSD. It's just I haven't hit the good grades part. That comes later.
That's because it's UCSD. Why didn't you go to Berkeley? All right.
True.
Gold lead has slipped to Cal's side, as has the XP. And if they were going to GG at 15 minutes, UCI would have been happy campers. Now, not nearly as much. UCI has reverted to the strategy they had in the previous game of move around as a group and pray to God you don't get anybody picked off. Nice, Gorgon. Gorgon really just here for the humor and fun. I don't know why we don't have him do this more often. It's certainly better than him talking. Gold. Bloodthorn pretty effective. We got the Lotus Orb now up on the Ogre Magi, and an Eagle Song out on Luna. So the farm continuing to pour in for Cal as they make this late game their Toady. Less offensive, I suppose, unless you're a Toad, and then bummer for you. All right, now we do see a potential rotation. They were thinking about K-Sed, but KSED is just too strong right now. He's got the Blink Orchid, jumps forward. Bai is going to hide in the trees, and is going to be out of position to help out if they try to make a move here on the Lion. But you know what? Smartly, Cal not willing to take that risk. They're pinging out Roche, saying, let's do this. We push them back. They're scared to death to come out and face us. Why? Because Luna has Boots of Travel and a recall, which means that if they stop this Roche, they do stand the risk of losing the split push, or they could anyway. Right now, as they get the Aegis up very quickly, Morbid Mask left on the ground, Cheese still in the pit, Ogre Magi going to be the keeper of the Cheese, and the Ring of Aquila, by the way, was dropped in there a long time ago and is still there. They're like, we don't need that extra gold.
This is the scariest 0-7 Luna I've ever seen. She's climbed the net worth chart so fast. She was sitting at 5th or 6th for, I want to say, 60% of this game. And now she's sitting at 3rd, a mere 900 gold behind the Shadow Fiend. Incredible play from Endure.
I do want to give a shout out to Twitch chat who just said UCI needs to actually just draft high ground. And I think that's actually a really good point for UCI if you're watching this. Maybe take into account, you guys have played so well in these early games that you catch Cal off guard, but they just keep holding the high ground and buying time to come back. And honestly, let's talk about Endure's ability to find farm, and more importantly, KSED's ability to make the space for him to find it. that has been absolutely superb. These two players huffed the team onto their back, bought plenty of space, and now Void also back into the game.
You know how we have certain supports that are semi-cores, so to speak, like jungling Axe, right? The 4-position jungling Axe. That's kind of what Void's doing, but he's like demoting himself to the position 4. And Keeper, just take all the farm. You know, I could do just fine with a Blink Chronosphere. And it's working tremendously well. The Keeper of the Light with these items has been such a huge impact in fights. With Lotus Orb now, I'm very impressed with how Cal has adapted.
2 Lotus Orbs, by the way, up on that side. So it really means that UCI is going to have a hard time with these engagements. That's their answer to the initiation stuns, and so far, it has been very effective. So looking to go the high ground. Cal moving forward. They've got the Aegis. They want to start to chip. And UCI finding themselves in the exact opposite position that they were 10 minutes ago, where they're desperately holding the high ground against a bunch of Phantom Horses. Holy cow, look at that gold swing. That is ridiculous.
Good lord.
Yeah, that's not even a hill I'd want to walk down, for crying out loud. Endure comes forward, does take a lot of damage. They're going to put up the Lotus Orbs on him, but he's taking so much from the spin. Nicely played there, but the Aegis will very likely get popped. There it is. They lost the Juggernaut. Gonna have to spend the buyback. Nice Chronosphere to buy some space. They need to kill this Shadow Fiend. They're burning him as hard as they can. Shallow Grave comes out. Juggernaut buys back, jumps in with the Omni Slash, but now Radiant's on the run. They lost the Lion. They're gonna lose the Shadow. No, he gets away. The horses can't stop him, but they do lose the tower. KSED in very deep, turns back around. He's buying space to try and finish up the melee racks. In comes the back from quarterfinal, wants to make a move. Gonna burn him down. Lord Kuhn dropping low. If they can kill him, it would be a massive coup. Quarterfinal, though, gonna be the one that drops down. KSED trying to make something happen. Finish that melee racks, guys. They do get it down. They finish off the line for the second time. Range racks drops. Mashu backs away. Buyback from the Sand King. And it looks like they're gonna try to take the tower in the mid at the same time, and they do. The greed is real, but it's okay, I guess, as they're just burning him down. Nice triple stun from the Sand King. Will buy some space, but will it be enough? KSED will go down. Endure locked in place. Huge epicenter, picks off the 2. Buybacks, though, on TA and the Luna, so they got to be careful there. Going to go ahead and pick off the Coddle as well. Makes it a 4-man pick, but they've got buybacks on everybody but the Faceless Void. So they will try to pile drive down mid in desperation, being that they're down 2 sets of racks and a tower. The problem is, here's the buybacks. Will they TP boot or will they defend? The buybacks come out, and like clockwork, all 3 of the dire dots spin on a damn dime. If my car could turn that well, I would be a race car driver or some shit, because that was crazy how fast it spun.
In that same vein, I really wish Cal would have waited, because they look determined to just run down and spend every last bit of effort.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Rapier, we are endgame. Shadow Fiend.
Desperation
they looked
Rapier.
hell-bent on finishing the game right then, and I think they kind of needed to. I think that was the game plan. But instead, the buybacks coming out a bit earlier than probably anticipated gave them time to turn around and defend some tier 4s.
Now, he did pick up the Rapier after they turned back, correct? Cool. So I think their goal was they burnt the buybacks. You're right, Cal should have waited a little bit longer. The second the buybacks came out, he sneaks the Rapier, and the hope is, if you can get a surprise pick here, if they're not smart enough to look at you as you stop the creep push, you can win this game, right? The problem is you need to get that surprise initiation, and Hannibal's going to go out and farm with backup from... Yeah, so he's got the backup from Bay. He's going to make sure that nothing happens to him. He's got that Shallow Grave escape potential. Meanwhile, though, I mean, look at this. The gold lead was at 10,000 for UCI at 15 minutes. At 53, it's at 12,000 for Cal. So, yeah, they got a little bit back, but, man, is it going to be enough?
That's like Mariana's Trench. That just plummets. That is 20,000 gold in the span of 10 minutes. That is remarkable. Cal has flipped this completely on its head, and when your Dazzle could buy a Scythe of Vice, we have reached endgame. He's 6-1. The Dazzle is 6-1. I haven't even noticed. He's essentially a carry.
I do want to address, it looks like King in the North is telling me that K-Set, or however I'm saying his name, is KSED. So I want to apologize to him for pronouncing a name phonetically, because I guess that doesn't make sense.
I thought it was KS'd, like I was kill stolen.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Actually, I just think that King of the North is silly. All right,
Or
gold
it's
lead.
desk with dyslexia. Like backwards.
Plus, the King of the North constantly die. All right, these guys get stabbed.
True.
They die. I mean, it's a rough place to be the king. Gold lead, XP. Really, gold is heavily in favor of Cal right now. XP. It UCI's here, but it what does that really matter at this stage of the game with all the 25s coming out? It doesn't. So we're gonna look at items and we're gonna look at how they are progressing. Templar Assassin with that BKB sitting at 7 seconds is definitely, like you said, a huge threat in this game. Luna does have the Satanic along with every other piece of the book, including the Butterfly, and really no space for an MKB at the moment on the opposing team. So Luna did find a way to try to make herself a little harder to kill, and UCI having to put every bit of their resources in defending this high ground. They don't have the counter push that Cal does.
Yeah, the Butterfly isn't a huge deal on the Luna. They have the BKB on the Jug, and the Finger of Death should be more than enough to really just chunk down the Luna. That being said, every other hero on Cal is now an issue, maybe barring the Ogre. But still, Ogre is a hero that really can't be killed. So
Right.
this uphill battle, I think as long as Cal just waits for Roshan, this should be a pretty clean finish for this game.
Yep, so Mashu is going to play the split push role. That's how confident he is right now, and he can do that because he's got the Ag Scepter, throws down the Illuminate, and then just walks away, allows those creep waves to keep pushing forward, which is controlling the potential for UCI to exert their will upon their opponents. And they're going to be careful. They have to have seen the Divine Rapier at this point, so they want to make sure they get a good engagement on Hannibal Lecter, which is going to be tough because he has had people around him at all times. So Mashu does take one shot from the SF, drops down to 3/4 health, and if they didn't know about the Rapier before, they definitely know about it now.
Yep. And again, there's really no reason for Cal to do anything. For one, it's nighttime. That courier just got sniped by TA as well. That's...
All right,
Oh.
moving on TA. They want to get this kill. They need to get this kill. And TA is going to smell it out and just gets real. Beautifully done. The recall goes off mere seconds before the blind blink stun by Sand King that would have got her.
Yep. Keeper of the Light is a good hero.
God, yeah, no, Keeper of the Light, we give a lot of credit, okay, to the farm found by Luna. We're giving a lot of credit to the space created by TA, but let's give credit where credit is due. Keeper of the Light has been playing well. The recalls have been right on time, and more importantly, the hero has been able to hold long enough for all of those things that we just talked about to happen. So Mashu playing a very good game on a very good hero. No, let's go to mid. Looks like Idol wants to move on Endure. Endure pops the BKB. KSED comes in to help out, and immediately they've got to back away. They can't risk losing a team fight right now. So that speaks volumes, I think. UCI had a great initiation, but the second that Cal showed up, UCI said, we can't be here. We got to go.
Yeah, and that's really what they need to do. Just wait out Roshan. They got a trap right in the pit. They'll know when Roshan is up the second it is, and from there the push is easy. The Keeper of the Light, now that it's daytime, has a bit more flexibility to run around, and if they want to try something a bit crazier, they do have the heal to back them up. But it's just, patience has paid dividends for them thus far. No reason to change it up now.
Absolutely, especially when you're looking. So let's look at buyback statuses right now. The guys from Dire are about a minute from having all of their buybacks come online. Radiant is about to tick off on all of theirs as well. So really, it's just sort of a reset, right? Like they forced the buybacks from Cal, but because Cal has been playing slippery Dota, allowing the creeps to push and make space, they'll just let their buybacks come back off a cooldown, which I think is absolutely detrimental. Okay, so smoke rotation. Hannibal Lecter and the crew know that it's time for them to get a pick. They can't let these buybacks come off. Theirs are actually becoming available pretty rapidly, so he can start to move forward. Hannibal Lecter looking to pick somebody up. They know Roche Timer says it's up, making the move. Idle ATM wants to go for the Ogre Magi, but that will reveal their space. Ogre does go down. He can buy back for a defense if he needs to, and Roche is going to be back in about 30 seconds, 15 seconds. They jump in.
TA
they don't see him.
Just aggressively TP'd up.
Well, they got the recall.
Oh, that's very true. I completely keep forgetting about the recall. And
Yeah.
I think that's the strength of the hero, right? No one really expects the hero to just get pulled back every time. And yeah, this is going to be a tier 4.
All right, so they do lean into the tier 4 is saved at the last second by Hannibal Lecter, and he will clear them away in desperation. But again, just lets Cal go, well, we lost an ogre, but what's it really matter? We go back to farming. Roche is up. Mashu should find it right now.
I'm sure they see it.
They have to. Well, they got the TA traps, obviously. So KSED goes in there. The Ring of Achilles still sitting.
Yep.
And KSED will just burn it down. There is no chance for a response from UCI because if they risk trying to respond, well, you get a boot TP and a finish to your towers and your racks. So KSED picks it up, leaves the Dragon Lance lying on the ground, and this feels like Bad News Bears, Walter Matthau. Gold lead, 15,000.
Bad News Bears indeed. It's daytime too, so as long as they execute something within the next 2.5 minutes, it looks like they're kind of holding off. I really feel like you want to exploit the healing from Keeper of the Light, but again, a lot of his strength has just come from mana leaking and chakra. He's doing his job from the backline day and night, so I guess the heal isn't that big of an issue.
All right, quarterfinal going to clear. They start to move towards the mid. They've got their buybacks. Almost. All buybacks are up. So they say, all right, we got Aegis. We got buyback. Let's push high ground. Let's finish this barracks. And honestly, if they could come in, finish the racks, and then all die and buy back, they win this game, in my opinion. So Endur's going to come through. Leads in. They finish one. They're going to do exactly that. They just go hard on the racks, want to finish it. Chronosphere comes out. They turn back around, say, meh, let's get kills, baby. Shadow Fiend very low. Nice shallow grave. Will it be enough? Ultimate comes out. Oh, the Rapier. So much healing. Can they finish? Just finish the racks for crying out loud. Quarterfinal goes down. They lost the Ogre Magi. Endure wants the Juggernaut, but the Juggernaut survives again. They're not going to finish the racks. Endure says, I got to get it. She does. Okay, goes down. Aegis is going to get popped. They lost only the Lion and the Jug, but the Jug will buy back. Ultimate used by the Shadow Fiend. Endure wants to stick it out, has the Satanic, trying to go. Mashu with the mischance. Will it be enough? No. Down goes the Luna. They lost 3 in that exchange, but the TA got out, and they'll go ahead and just push the opposite lanes. Make sure that the guys know that, hey, if you try to go for the mid push, you're going to lose. They already lost one of their last tiers. They're about to lose the other to a couple of catapults. Remember, range Super Siege Creep's MVP here. And the desperation mid push by Kuhn and Idol.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
All right, well, at this point, Ogre's not gonna have to buy back. Chronosphere will be up when Faceless Void respawns. They can yield these racks, and it really won't cost them very much. Luna decides to burn the buyback. They've got the glyph, too, if they want to try to bait them in, and they will use it. K-Sed comes forward. Nice blast to put Kuhn out of position. He's going to spin. Good follow-up. They want to make their play on K-Sed. He's got to back away. KSED doing a good job of the turnaround. Moves on refraction. Kuhn's got to back away. Final comes in with the jump. Chronosphere not up yet, but it's not going to matter. Down goes the Juggernaut. No buyback on him. Bai is going to run and say it as he goes. Endure on the chase. Really wants Hannibal Lecter. Shadow Fiend, oh man, double kills all around. The GG comes out. The TP to base. Can they finish it before the GG goes through? And they do. Guys, Cal, good lord, Chaz. I mean, these guys don't give up. They never stop coming. And they got that win. Let me ask you, who do you give the MVP to? This is the banned player of the game. Who's your choice?
How do you even give out a banned gaming MVP for that one? That was just... I honestly feel like picking an MVP for that game on the side of Berkeley is so extremely difficult. I'm going to give the Mental Fortitude Award to Endure. I can't pick a single best player, but I'll give my Endure.
All right, you give it to Endure. I think Endure did a great job of finding space, but I think that space was given to him on the back of some really smart coddle plays and some really great TA space making. But I'm going to give it to a support because we don't see that happen often. So my player of the game goes to the coddle. I believe it said Mashu. And really kudos to him for playing a very strong coddle. And really some of the best, I mean, that recall top lane to save the TA in a really crucial point, I think outlines some of his really high quality of play. Great supports, great matches tonight, huge comebacks from Cal. And honestly, if you didn't think Cal was in it this season, they proved otherwise tonight. My name's Toffees. You can find me at Toffees TVs. Chaz, where can these guys find you?
I am at Chasmus at the Twitters.
And of course, you can find us all at C Star League over there as well. Big shout out to Twitch for making this all possible. And of course, to Band Gaming, the official social app of the CSL. You can download it on Android or on the Apple Store, and you can install it right now. Join us over at the CSL Club. They've got chat, they've got text, they've got everything that you could want out of any other social app, but it's even better. So go check them out right now, guys. It's been wonderful spending the evening with you. We'll play some music for you, but until then, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you Thursday.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. This has been a wonderful. Chaz, Gorgon, myself, all